Divorce Talk Radio does not give therapeutic advice. The topics discussed are for informational purposes only. If you are in need of therapy, please consult a licensed professional in your own state. Welcome to Moving Forward. This is Emily McGrath with my co-host Kevin McCarthy. Hi, Kevin.
Emily, how are you, young lady?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
We're doing fine.
Great.
Thank you for asking.
Tonight we're talking about weekends and downtime when you're by yourself or when you don't have your kids and what to do with that time so you're not going crazy and depressed and all that other stuff that comes along with divorce, because I think it's easy to go in a downward spiral with being alone. That I wanted to talk about this tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, you talk about during a divorce and you know about court dates coming up, and maybe you have some other family problems, family issues to deal with, and you work all week, and now the weekend approaches.
Right.
What do? You know, your friends are one way, they're doing other things, and you might be in a down mood, and all you want to do is stay in the whole weekend. Mm-hmm. Well, wrong.
Well, and also dealing with the visitation, you know,
yes.
With me, I have my son when I work, mostly, and then I have the weekends, and then I have the weekends where I don't have him.
Right.
So it's getting in that mindset. Again, mindset is huge. You know, you don't want to think, oh gosh, I'm alone. But let's become familiar with ourselves. Let's get comfortable with who we are.
Right.
And not have to rely on others. Because how empowering is that to be by yourself and enjoy yourself? Just being with you. It's
your life, and I always say you're the best salesperson of your life. So you're now in control.
Exactly.
So something that comes to my mind, which I think is fabulous, and I've been there a number of times, and so have you too, Emily. Okay, let's just say Monday through Friday you work your 9 to 5-ish type of job, give or take. Well, downtown Rockford, they have the city market on Fridays.
Yes.
What's a better way, something than going to a city market? There's activity, there's people. Right. You might meet a friend, you might make a friend. Just go down there, you get something to eat, you walk around, you shop. I mean, that's a great way to start things.
It's all local produce too, you know, it's all local.
Yeah.
So, yeah, why not get out? And that's probably the best thing to do. Yes.
Even if you're in a bad mood, there was times I was just in a bad mood, I didn't want to go out. I went out.
Right.
I couldn't tell you when I got home.
You felt better.
I felt great. And here I was going to sit home and watch TV. You could do that anytime.
Right.
But going out, it's a little event.
Right.
And it was great. So always events like that, little get-togethers. And the markets are fabulous for going out.
Yes. And it's, you know, like you said, it is a good way to get out and meet people. You can meet people if you're feeling adventurous. And, hey, you know, where did you find that? You know.
Right.
And the sweeteries out there, too. Yes. So you can get your little sweet tooth taken care of.
Of course. And you always, you know, this is a great way, too. Because if you just have, let's say, so many friends, and you're sort of shy, not quite sure, you know, how to meet new friends, go to something similar to a city market where somebody is standing in line with you, or somebody is off to the side. Maybe they're having a drink, having a Coke, having a cup of coffee, picking up a piece of pie, or something. Well, you can say hi to them. Always say hello, or maybe they'll say hello to you, and you start talking. Before you know it, you know, might meet a friend. You might meet them there next weekend. Well, now you got another weekend already starting to plan to do things.
Right. Exactly. But let's say that you don't have something like that out there.
Right.
It's okay to stay home. It is okay. I give you that permission to stay home because I've done it, and I'm actually okay with being by myself because I like who I am. And it's coming to that realization that you are a cool person and you are worth spending time with, because why wouldn't you have friends?
That's right.
So, you know, take this time to learn, you know, what you like to do in your hobbies. Like, reinvent yourself. You could become someone completely different.
You'd be surprised.
Yes. You know, if there's a talent or a hobby that you like to do it. You know, if you need to go out and buy some things to, like scrapbooking. I used to do a ton of scrapbooking.
You did do that.
I did.
You used to talk about your scrapbooking.
Yeah,
okay.
and I don't have time now, which I wish I had.
See, now you don't have time because you're busy. You have a full schedule.
I do have a full schedule. So, and I miss my quiet time. I do. I used to have a lot of it, and that's why I'm so comfortable with myself, is because I faced it full force.
Right.
And I just looked at what my hobbies were. So I got into scrapbooking and exercising and really looking inside at who I am. And, you know, another good thing is journaling. You know, get those nasty thoughts out of your head and get them onto paper. And a lot of times you feel so much better. And just maybe just going for a walk, looking at nature and just getting outside. Sometimes you feel better after that as well.
Absolutely, especially now since it's summer. Maybe you want to go for a bike ride. All right, well then schedule it in. Say, okay, Friday you're going to go to the city market. You spend a couple hours there and you come home. Saturday morning you get up, you take a shower, do whatever you need to do. Maybe there's even some yard work that you have to do.
Right.
Then after you get through with that, you take a little break. Then maybe go for a bike ride. So I guess if you start planning things, what I found helpful is having things, okay, 2 o'clock I have this, then at 6 o'clock here, then, you know, tonight I'm staying in because I've been busy the whole day.
Right.
And you just want time just to, some people tend to meditate, which I found very
that's another
helpful.
good thing to do.
Meditation.
Right. Yep, and that puts you to a higher energy level, which makes you feel better.
Right.
I love meditation. I do it every morning.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Okay, you do? Okay.
Yes, I love it. And it just starts your day out at a better way, a better energy. And I notice there's a better flow in my day when I do meditations versus not.
Right.
So, yes.
And just a little sidebar, a friend of mine in Chicago, she does yoga.
Oh,
And
I've never done yoga before.
See, neither have I, and she's telling me to do it. A lot of guys are doing it now. Where that maybe, again, now you've set time aside for your yoga. You've set time aside where you're filling up the weekend.
Yes. But I think it's good to not fill it so full that you don't know which way you're going, because that can be very stressful too, especially if you're working all week. And it's I generally use Sundays for downtime.
Right.
You know, that's where I'm catching up on housework or whatever needs to be done. Or, but I like to have kind of a chill day so that, you know, once Monday comes, you're refreshed.
Absolutely.
So I think that's important too.
And there's a few of my friends on Facebook, you could see where they're always out doing something. Now, some people that are single, that are divorced, they need that. They need it. Others, they don't need all of that, such as on Sunday evening is where mine, or Sunday afternoon, that's where I sort of put the switch down.
Yep.
Read, sit on the deck, maybe have a friend stop by. You know, you always want to, but during the summer, it is really best in spring when you can get out, because in wintertime you're going to be in more anyhow.
Exactly. Reading a good book. You know, there's some good uplifting, motivational books out there too that, you know, you can get into that will keep your mindset up and positive and all that good stuff. Because
of the divorce, I'm reading more now.
Are you? I am too, actually, yeah.
More and different things. Before, you just read pretty much a lot of basic stuff of interest to me. But now I'm going a little bit off the interest topic because somebody suggests, Kevin, you got to read this. Okay, I'll pick it up, go through 1 or 2 pages, then I'll eventually finish it during the week or 2 weeks, depending how long it is.
Yeah. I have really enjoyed reading. Yeah, that's another good point. And maybe even, you know, I mentioned this in a past podcast, but going to a bookstore and just browsing.
That's right.
You know, grab a cup of coffee or tea, you know, because nowadays places are offering tea more, which I've noticed. And just going to browse, you could spend an afternoon browsing at a bookstore.
Sure you can.
And then you have somewhat interaction with people, too. And that usually brightens up my day, you know, just saying hi to someone real quick or shooting someone a quick smile or, you know.
Well, we have discussed the importance of friendship through a divorce. Even after, oh my gosh, even after until the day you die, have friends. But, you know, going to a bookstore.
Right.
Barnes & Noble, one of these stores, whatever. And then you go get a cup of coffee. Well, you're waiting in line. You have other tables there. People are there for the same reason you are.
Right.
So maybe someone next to you is sitting down, drinking a cup of coffee, doing some people watching, which I found is great. And then there's a book where you can say, excuse me, what's the name of that book you're reading again, and what's about it? Then you start talking about, well, see, now you're making a friend, or at least you're making you're talking and you're getting it out.
Right.
Where you're just not sitting there. You're actually feeling good because now you're contributing.
Right. Yep.
Actually, to your well-being.
Yes, exactly. Right. And then back to like the time where you don't have your children, because that can be really hard.
All right. Right. Oh, sure. Yeah.
That was hard for me, just because I had always been around my son. Before we divorced, I just was working part-time, so I was at home a whole lot more, and I had to go out and get a full-time job after the divorce because I had to provide for us.
Right.
Yes, there's child support, but that doesn't do much. So, I had to it was really hard for me because I had to put my child into daycare when I was in work. But when my former spouse was having our son, he didn't have to work. So I had a really hard time with that. So really, the only time I had were evenings when he was crabby after work.
Yeah.
It's because you have to go home, make dinner, do a bath and books and bedtime, They're crabby. They don't want to do anything. And then, weekends I had, every other weekend I had with them. So, I had to deal with quality versus quantity.
Right.
With me. Because the quantity wasn't very much because he was at daycare all day. So that was a really hard issue for me. And I'm sure some of our listeners have that issue as well.
Right.
So I had to come to terms with myself. Okay, do I want to complain about this? Do I want to worry about this? Or do I want to spend quality time with my child? And I decided I wanted to choose quality time. So when I have them, we do fun stuff like strawberry picking or having play dates or just spending time together outside, playing in a sandbox.
Well, I know you like to cook, so I think there has been times where your son was maybe hanging around or, Mommy, make some cookies, Mommy, I would like this, where you're also including him in.
Exactly.
On a project of sorts.
Yes, we cook together all the time. He loves to help me cook.
That's good, yeah.
Yes, he pulls up the little step stool and helps me. Sometimes he wants to help more than I want him to, especially over the stove. But
oh yeah,
his imagination is awesome. So it doesn't hurt having him help.
No.
So, but you kind of just have to come to terms with the issue. I know it's difficult because I've been there, but you really got to think about your child and what's best for your child. Your child needs both parents. They do.
Absolutely.
Because then that child's going to be more well-rounded. And like for us, he has 2 different households. Seriously. It's night and day, So, but I had some time alone where I had to get to know Emily again.
Right,
I really did
That's
because,
exactly
when you come out of a divorce, probably like you have,
right.
You were a husband, you were a father, probably a brother-in-law. Am I wrong?
Yeah. All of the above.
Okay.
All of the above.
So you need to find out who you are again. Right?
Right. I had to reinvent in a number of different ways.
Right.
Reinventing. And some of that time I took thinking and reading was during the downtime, during the weekend, where I'm thinking things through a little bit more, Emily.
Right. So that's when you can use that time is to look inside and find out who you want to be. You can, like you said, you can reinvent yourself. Find out what your hobbies are, like I said earlier, I did a lot of meditation during that time to try and find out who I was. Doing self-searching is not a bad thing. It's a very good thing, especially after divorce, because it's so unsettling and you don't know which way you're going. You don't know who you are. So I think self-discovery is huge.
And I could see that being again, we've all been there. I'm sure some of our listeners here at Divorce Talk Radio feel the same way. And it was almost as if, wait a minute, what do I want to do now? Maybe I want to do this for my work instead of doing this, or thinking about all these other opportunities maybe you didn't have before.
Right.
All right.
And like making decisions for yourself. That was a huge one for me.
Well, was it? So,
oh my gosh.
So your ex was pretty much sometimes in that pattern of taking care of things, doing things, or just controlling things.
Right.
Maybe.
And so getting into that mindset, I can make decisions for myself. So for me, that was very empowering. So this transition from finding out who you are, from being a wife or a husband, a brother or sister-in-law, or whatever the circumstance is, that transition from being married and then divorced is huge, but it can also be empowering and a great way to find out who you are. I just think I actually truly enjoyed finding out who I was again, because I really did change, and I think that's awesome. I think, if you go from being someone different, after the divorce, I think, wow, that's a huge transition, and that's awesome. And I celebrate that with those who have, because that is huge,
During my marriage, it was pretty much, I think all marriages are the same, yet they're all different. So what is that, an oxymoron or something? Anyhow, in my case, it was pretty much a nice split of things. Sometimes she knew. It was actually a great marriage, I thought. But again, not to go off topic where it ended at, but where it was pretty much, she did her things better. I did some things better. But it was a nice split of things. Okay. And I thought, and for those, like, I'll just use you, Emily, that are maybe not really doing all of the thinking or the decision making. See, I always thought that is what's needed during a marriage. Maybe that was lacking in a number of marriages, which is why I say all marriages are different, yet they're the same. So it is important to make your own decisions. And if you are married, whatever, you work with that spouse, you work with that person and get it all done.
Right.
So, but reinventing, and that's what I didn't change much in some cases because I wasn't, I don't know, just not much really to change. But again, you go out there and do things, and some people really have to invent themselves.
Right. Because you get stuck.
You get stuck.
You do. Yeah.
You get stuck.
And it's not fun being stuck. It's really not. And once you come out of that, you feel magnificent. Like, I cannot tell you how much better you feel after everything has changed. You feel empowered because you're doing everything on your own that you never used to do.
Right, yeah.
So, doing everything, cleaning the house, taking care of your kids, paying the bills, being able to pay those bills with the money that you're earning. That's, I think, huge.
You always hate to write the checks, but nevertheless, you're doing it yourself.
You're doing it yourself.
We all hate to write checks.
Yes.
Okay.
The yard work, everything. You're doing it all yourself. And I would just want to commend those single parents out there because it is hard.
Absolutely.
And, but they're doing a fantastic job. And, getting there is not easy. But when you can get in a good routine and have a good relationship with your children, it can be wonderful.
And then, of course, those downtimes will eventually come back again, and the weekends. And sometimes maybe you want to take a day trip. All you got to do is go an hour away.
Right.
Half hour away. Wisconsin. Anywhere in Illinois, you go to Chicago, maybe take a trip out to Iowa, you get yourself lunch somewhere, you see things, turn around and come back, or maybe there's a museum that you want to go to.
Right.
Go to the internet, man. It's all out there, as we all know.
Right.
So I always thought going out for the day would be something that you could plan in and work in, or maybe a friend might even want to go with you.
Exactly. Yep.
So, being occupied, keeping things going, and having something to do while also having times maybe you're tired of doing something. Well, then that weekend maybe you just want to stay home. Right.
But I mean, maybe get out for a little bit, because I think that's important.
A good walk is always good, especially if you live in a nice neighborhood setting.
Exactly. Yeah, we have a bike path by us, so we like taking that.
Oh,
so
good.
Yeah.
I didn't know. So you ride bikes, or do you just walk the bike path?
My son usually rides his bike, but we walk.
Okay, good.
So I like walking.
And you have a dog,
We have a dog, yes.
So now you take
Trixie?
Trixie.
Trixie.
I'm thinking of Speed Racer. Everybody knows that. That was, okay, anyhow.
She loves her walks, too. So
okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
But
And just getting out in the vitamin D, the sun, and looking at the flowers and, hearing all the nature, the birds, and occasional bunny or
yes,
whatever. It's just nice to get out.
another topic too that I just sort of touched on, or we did, was about pets. Oh, my
yes.
gosh, those would be your buddies.
Yes.
And of course they're relying on you, but the
Yes.
love they give you back in return is
Right.
you can't put a price on it.
Right, exactly.
So,
it's
of
like
course.
having furry kids.
Yeah, you take your dog for a walk, or a cat. You feed the cat, you play with the cat, play with the dog.
Right.
Dog runs around. Maybe you take the dog to a dog park.
Oh, yes. There's
throw the
one
frisbee.
in Rockford, I think.
Isn't there something in Cherry Valley too? I thought there
there?
was something as
Okay.
well. But yeah, I mean, there's all different dog parks and whatever. But I always found pets to be very helpful too, even if they're
Right.
not your own pets.
Well, they're your companion.
That's right.
Yeah.
And even on your worst day,
They will
they're
still
there
love
waiting
you.
for you, and they
Yes.
still love you. They
Yes.
don't care. They just want their love, and they plan their day around you.
Right, exactly. That's a good point. Thank you, Kevin.
No, you're welcome. Well, that's why I'm here to contribute to your show here, Emily. So I guess a number of our topics here or discussions that we spoke about today. Freedom from heartache, that's your business. So
Yes.
I'm sure when you're coaching someone, a number of these topics would come up and say, Emily, I don't know how to handle this, or Emily, what's your thoughts on this? Do they ask you for all that type of advice? And,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because it's a big topic. When your life changes so drastically, you're living with your, spouse or your kids, and then, going through divorce and separation, you don't have that all the time. So it is a change, and it's hard to change that. And I give people the tools to cope with that in that time, so
Good.
they can get through it in an easier and better way than just going into depression,
Okay.
because that's not good.
No, we've all been there. No, we don't want to go.
Right.
What going through this, of course, it's all hindsight to us
Yes.
because we never know. We learned this, and I think the part of your show here on Divorce Talk Radio is that we're relaying our experiences to a
Right.
point onto
Exactly.
someone else in hopes that somebody else would say, "Hey, things aren't that bad,"
Right.
Or I could do this to change. Hopefully, our lessons learned could benefit
Right.
someone else.
Exactly, and get the ahas from our show and be like, "Oh, I can do that," or "That's a
Sure.
really good idea."
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Because what my passion is helping individuals, whether it be single parents or just individuals who are divorced or divorcing, through their grief, because it is grief. Divorce
Yes.
is grief. It's hard to go through, and I've gone through many things, and I've learned a lot, and my passion is passing that on, whether it be through this show or my clients. That's my passion, and helping them have a happier and joyful life. So I hope this helps.
That's it. And life goes by rather quickly. So
Oh my gosh, yes it does. I cannot believe how quickly time goes by, and you're worth every minute. You're worth it. Give yourself that time to reinvent yourself and invest in yourself.
invest. That's the key word I think
Yeah.
that we learned too. Invest in yourself.
Right.
If you want to go back to school, maybe this is an opportunity because maybe the funds, maybe you have more, maybe you don't, but there are a number of ways to go back. Or heck, go to a bookstore, go to the
Right.
library, pick up a book, and read and study what you want to do.
Exactly. Yeah,
And that
maybe
doesn't
you
cost
want to
anything
have
but
a
your
different
time.
career.
Yeah, right.
Who knows what you can think of and recreate for yourself, because anything is possible. Anything you put your mind to is possible, truly.
I think so, Em. And again, weekends and downtime on what to do. Hopefully, we did cover a number of different avenues for others to explore, and maybe
Right.
some of our, our time, our downtime, and everything, and what we just discussed might be able to help
Right.
someone out there too
I
listening
hope
to the
so.
show. So do I. Yeah.
Because that time can be so useful, and you don't want to waste it, because I want that time back now.
We wasted so much time when we look back on what we wasted a ton of time, and then I think, boy, I could have did this, I could have did that, I could have. Well, you can't get the time back. You can't get it back.
You can't look in the past. You have to be looking at the present. You need to be in the present. Otherwise, you're just gonna go crazy.
Right. And I look back now thinking, oh my gosh, I could have done all of this, and I didn't do it. But again, lesson learned.
Right.
So. Our listeners, move forward. That's what we're telling you. Enjoy what you got now, and then look forward to whatever else might be around the corner.
Exactly. Reinvent your story. Recreate what you want. It's your life. Take it back, because it gets better. It truly does get better.
Absolutely, Emily.
Well, thank you, Kevin, for being here with me. And this has been Moving Forward and Divorce Talk Radio. Have a great day.